So take an example of Notion, right? Notion lets you do note taking. It gives all of the features for free, and it lets you collaborate with 5 different people. But if you want to expand that to more people, you have to take a subscription.
They started with solving one problem, but they eventually became a marketplace where others can come contribute to the content, which will help the segment of customers. Like if it is designers, designer has certain templates, product managers have certain templates.
Once you're in the ecosystem, it's very hard for another company to build this ecosystem, because all of this is user generated and contributed.
What are all the things that we need to know so that our products can be grown in a product-led approach? Hi everyone, welcome back to our podcast, Everything Product. In this podcast, we talk about different product management concepts, latest technologies, and we also host wide variety of industry leaders. In this video, Sidhu and I want to talk about one of the industry leading concepts, product-led growth. What are the different examples? What are the different companies doing it? And why we as product managers need to learn about this concept so that we can grow our own products. Cool. Sidhu, let me start with a simple question, right? What is product-led growth?
Yeah, funny. So product-led growth is actually a business model where the main goal is to grow the customer base by getting them to use the product rather than using other strategies like marketing or sales. So and the only focus here is to make your product more and more better so that people get value out of it and come to your product rather than you go to them asking for either through the sales channel or through the marketing channel. And when you look at product led growth, right, so there are certain themes which some of these companies follow, which are they focus a lot on the product, they focus on the user experience of the product, and also focus on virality, right, like how can you grow your customer base using word of mouth. And there's also a lot of focus on how do you retain the customers who get into your product. So these are certain themes, but we can get into more details. But overall, the concept of product led growth is focus more on your product so that your actually customers will come directly to you and get value out of the product rather than other channels to grow your user base.
Yeah, that's true. Like I could totally give an example, right? Like let me think about Zoom. So Zoom is a product that can help you do video calls, and if you have multiple people, you can all join together, have video calls, record it, transcript. You can get the transcripts of it, etc., etc. Pre-pandemic, not many people know about it, and there are many other products in the market which are competitors. Even big companies like Google also has competitors to it. But what Zoom did during pandemic is they made sure to give a free product that everyone can use and put some limitations to it. Now, after people get accustomed to it, now they want to get a freemium version where they start to pay to the product so that they can start to use these additional products and stuff. And the funny part is not just the enterprise customers, like typical corporate customers, even uh, regulatory bodies, even like courts have been using Zoom so that they can make all of these calls happen. So that is the powerful concept of product led growth, right? Everyone will start using it because it's free, and you're not stuck with customers who are just paying a premium for your product or like a subscription for your product. Rather, everyone can use it, but only limited folks will start to use the freemium, and that what generates revenue for you. Actually, Sidhu, let me ask this, right? There are multiple companies in the industry which are using this model, like product led growth. What do you think are the common themes that these companies have?
Yeah, funny. So I think like one of the main themes is any company which is a product led company has a really great user experience, right? So the user experience is so seamless that you don't have to basically look at a different place to go through the whole journey of signing up and using the product, right? So everything is self-explanatory and there are no roadblocks or pain points in the whole process. So I think the first thing is create a great user experience, and the second piece which I say is, right, they try to make it a freemium model, and this freemium model will let the customer experience the value of the product and want them use more and more of it. And there are also a paywall when they use it for a certain extent, right? I think that's a model which all of these product led companies use. So take an example of Notion, right? Notion lets you do note taking. It gives all of the features for free, and it lets you collaborate with 5 different people. But if you want to expand that to more people, you have to take a subscription. And I use Notion a lot, and I used to use the freemium model. But as I started using more and more of it and adding more and more content into it, I moved to a paid version. So I think that's where the freemium model works. It gives so much value to the customer, they would be easily willing to pay more for that. So that's the freemium model there. And also, when you see at some of these product-led growth companies, the value of these products improve over time, right? So you get more and more features that are added to the product, and you basically get to do more and more things and get more value out of the product. So that's a consistent theme when you see in some of these product led growth companies. And the last one is network effects, right? So you bring in a lot of people to use this product. So I remember me using Notion, and also, whoever I work with, I recommend Notion or send them the links of Notion so that they try it and they also get into that network. I think that's something which is also very interesting about this company. So I think these are some of the themes which you see when you look at a product led growth company. And funny, I know
Yep.
you have actually looked at a lot of different companies. And can you maybe give us an example of a product-led company, growth company, and how did it grow?
Yeah, definitely, Sidhu. So I, I've seen a huge change in the design side of the products. Like there are a lot of companies which actually adapted to that model and then grew a lot. So let's talk about Figma. Figma as an example, right? In enterprise, when you're trying to like design products, there was so many in the market before Figma. Like Envision was one of the products, which is like enterprise product. Like big companies have been selling it. Figma came into the market as a small company which is trying to like revamp the entire design process. And one other thing they tried to do is multiple people being able to update the design docs at the same time, comment on it, etc. etc. It came as a very simple product, can be used by anyone, but now they are at a scale where they give licenses to products, and anyone who wants to edit have to get the pro subscriptions. But they still didn't want to lose that freemium thought process, and they also launching like fig jams and stuff so that everyone can collaborate, everyone wants to be on the product. And like you said, the networking effect plays a big role, where when everyone is trying to use that, you are forced to use the product and can make improvements on it. Another big example I could think of is Canva. Like content creators, right? When we are content creators, we don't have so much expertise in like building design different products like images, videos, etc. So Canva came into the industry where any Tom, Dick, and Harry in the world can use a product and generate thumbnails, generate images, edit images, etc. And now they're giving freemium models where after you use it a certain point of time, you want to get like premium icons, you want to get like premium templates. Now you start to pay for the product. So after you start for some period of time, you're like, oh, okay, now this is really good, but I want that one additional thing. Okay, let me pay for it. Okay, monthly subscription is a limited amount, so let me take that and then continue to use the products. But what happens is once you start to use them, you're stuck with that product for a lifetime, because now you have all of those things that you're continually using and you have knowledge for it.
Great,
Yeah,
great examples, Fanny.
cool.
So I'll tell you a story about no, no, great examples. I'll tell you a story about Figma. So Figma, when I was working in a startup, right? So this company had very less number of people, and never had this design experience of using Figma and all. Most of the previous prototypes were, either something that is free through an enterprise provider or something which was done in PowerPoints. So we actually hired a designer who actually brought in Figma into the company. where she actually was giving out these mock-ups to everybody to look at and comment on. And as a product manager, right, it was very easy for me to comment on, right, and make, ask them to make changes. It was collaborative. A lot of people were looking at these mock-ups and all, and this brought in a lot of value to people and time savings to people. So as one of the designers started using it, a lot more people started using it. And at some point we ran out of all of that, the freemium things which are provided for Figma, and we had to upgrade to an enterprise version. So that's how some of these product-led growth companies work, where you get so much value, you actually want to pay and get value out of it. And I think a lot of enterprises did the same, right? Initially a designer came in, they started sending out these mock-ups for review, and people started liking it, and more people started using it, and they'll run out of that freemium model, right? And then they want to upgrade to the premium. So that's a really really good example. And I also want to touch about Canva. We use Canva for all our thumbnails, right? And what did we use starting? We were using the free product. And as we did more and more thumbnails, we ran out of the free themes they give, so we had to buy a premium subscription. But there was no other alternative product which was so easy, so seamless, and so easy to collaborate with, which we can use for free. So there's no other option, we had to use it. And Canva also keeps improving what they offer. Now they bring in AI, they bring in a lot of ways to do stuff, no? So yeah, it's a great story and a point which you touched upon.
Yep. One other thing I want to talk about here, right, Sidhu, like as product managers, what are all the things that we need to know so that our products can be grown in a product-led approach? I mean, the very first thing that comes to my mind is user feedback, right? Because we always build products in an iterative way. Like that's nothing new to us. Like be it a huge product like TurboTax, or be it a finance-driven product like Mint. I've always done this in the past, where you iteratively get the customer feedback and then launch products. So the same thing applies to product-led growth products as well, where you might not be like very sales driven, where your lot of feedback is not coming from your internal teams, where a lot of qualitative or quantitative feedback is coming from the end users. You use that feedback to continually grow the product. So you're focusing a lot on product development here, rather than thinking about whether you're making money or not. Over a period of time, I'm sure like you're going to make money, but that customer centricity is pretty huge in product led growth. Any other concepts you think a product manager should keep in mind in product led growth?
Yeah, so I think one other thing before I get there, Funny. So you are actually working for Intuit, and you are actually building features for TurboTax, right? And I think TurboTax is also a really good example of product led, because I think they say you file your state taxes or something for $0, so that will give you a taste of, even if you don't pay, at least you can add all of those things, and it makes it seamless for you to actually get to that point where you are paying, right? So I think that's also a really good example. You have any stories there?
Yeah, that's I've never thought about it like that, because TurboTax as a product, you know, when you're coming into the product, you'll have to end up paying some amount. Not many people come to TurboTax thinking that okay, it's for free, because very limited customers have those scenarios where um, I think certain income limitations, etc., only those people can file for free. But when you brought up the topic, I could understand that, because people could feel the taste of the product, like they can go through everything, and only when they're satisfied with that product they can start to pay for it. I wouldn't consider that as like a freemium
Yeah.
model, because they can't use it without paying for it, but absolutely they user centric, build features so that everyone can use it, and at the end when they're satisfied they'll pay for it.
Yeah, and the reason why I bring this up is, like, as you were asking me, like, what are some other concepts, right? One of the main things which look at product-led growth companies is that, like, customers getting that aha moment when they're using that product. And one example which I can give while using TurboTax is, it made my crypto taxes so easy that I know, like, I don't want to use any other product. I just want to use TurboTax, because all other products which are out there were like, okay, download the Excel sheet with all your transactions from Coinbase, put that into this sheet, then manually calculate everything, and then say, okay, this is your cost basis in this order. But what TurboTax does is, I add my Coinbase account, I add my Robinhood account for crypto. It actually pulls up all of these sheets, calculates it for me, and just says that, can you verify one of these transactions? And once that is done, boom, it adds it to your taxable income, right? So that's a very very seamless way of doing it, and that's where my aha moment came in. That's just an example, but I think that's something which product led growth companies do a lot.
That's true.
Also funny, I also want to show you a graph which I have in one of the editions which I wrote. Let me quickly share my screen here.
While you do that, Siddha, I'm so glad to hear that because I'm the product manager who built that integrations with some of these cryptocurrency exchanges. And stuff.
Yeah, that's right. I know that. So, and I think that's where you're trying to improve the product more and more, right? So, as a
Mm.
product manager, your whole thing is to improve the TurboTax experience more and more so that people get value. I still believe that the amount will be the same, but you are increasing the value and making it more and more seamless. So, one of the things which I wanted to share here is, this is a graph of product led growth companies, and how much time it took them to get to 100 million annual recurring revenue, right? So you look at examples, right? UiPath was another example. So it's similar to Figma, but UiPath lets you automate all of the clicks, and it helps you with process automation. Slack was another example. Twilio was another example. Shopify, Carta, Calendly, Zapier, right? DocuSign, all of these, right? So these are examples of products which get that core. I don't think any of these products have separate teams who are, they might have for enterprise, but separate sales teams who are pushing people to buy stuff. People come in organically a lot of times.
Yeah, that is true
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you want to minimize your expenses as much as possible, but you want to bring in that scale. And again, it depends on the products a lot. But SaaS products needs that growth, otherwise they can't. They can't stick to a sales team which sells to like small business customers and continue to make money. That's never gonna happen.
And also one other example, funny, I say, right, like, it doesn't need to be a full-fledged product, right, with hundreds of different features. One example for that is Calendly. Calendly is such a small use case. Imagine you having a sales team to sell something like this. I don't know, nobody would even buy it, right? But Calendly takes that approach where it makes it easy for you to schedule meetings. It hits that pain point with a nail on the head. And once you send it to another person for scheduling, and they also get that value, right? Okay, they are sending me a link. I can go and look at their calendar and book a meeting immediately, right? So that's a very good example of how value can be given to people, and expand on that. So, yeah.
There are few other examples I could think of, Sidhu. Like when you're bringing it up, right? DocuSign is one such a simple thing. Like all you need to do is to get a signature. It's not it's not a difficult product to build, but the thing that is difficult is getting that consistency and getting that confidence from people that any DocuSign product is also a document that is actually given a strong signature from a person. So building that confidence is also something that they also build. And another one that I've also seen is TopMate. I've used this recently to like build, give coaching sessions to other people and stuff, or start to like find people who can help me in certain things. The thing that I observed there is the network effect is huge, and they focused a lot on the product led growth. They think about what are all the features that who wants to coach or who wants to guide people need, and after a certain period of time they'll tell, hey, you want to charge people to for your calls, okay, now you can add money to it. Or you want to do like different kinds of sessions, or you want to give like recorded videos, everything you can do for a price. So they start to expand a lot on each of these sections, which will give value to the giver who's making or like spending time for these sessions. It also adds value to the mentee who is coming to them. so that they also get value in a much faster pace.
Yeah, and I also want to give an example of Notion. Funny, so I want to talk through like how Notion actually did that. So I have a let me show you share something here. I have a really quick diagram here. So when you look at Notion, right? What is different with Notion, right? Notion is any other note-taking app, right? Like Evernote or OneNote or whatever it is. Like what made Notion so different? So Notion basically what they do is they are the building blocks of all of these templates that exist in the Notion ecosystem, right? So it's basically enabling people to create their own building blocks and put it out, and other users can use it. Take an example, right? So you're a product manager who wants to build a roadmap, right? So you are creating a template in Notion which is a roadmap, and then you put it out in the public. A lot of other people benefit from that. So that's where it creates that network effect where the user builds templates, and once you have a template it attracts more users, and as it attracts more users it activates the users starting to use Notion, and then again you'll continue to get that value through more and more templates, and you're stuck in that loop. So it has hundreds of templates which you can use and customize for every task and use case which you do, which is not available in any other note taking app now. So I think that's where the growth loops kick in, and also help people stay inside the network. And the company is not building these templates for the users, but the users are building it for themselves and socializing it. Maybe there'll be hundreds of users templates that are created, but 5 or 10 of them stand out, and that's where people want to come in to use those templates into the ecosystem. So this is one great example of how product-led growth companies use the strategy of virality, of word of mouth, and creating value to the users.
One thing that I could talk about here, right, is when I think about Notion, like you called it as a note-taking app or content, like you can start to store things, right? I feel like they went from a place where they are called a note-taking app to a marketplace. Same thing is happening with Canva, same thing is happening with Figma and others as well, where they started with solving one problem, but they eventually became a marketplace where others can come contribute to the content, which will help the segment of customers. So like if it is designers, designer has certain templates, product managers have certain templates. All of those are available in Figma right now, so that another cohort of customers want to use them and then come stick to the product. So that transition of like solving one use case to becoming a marketplace has also become pretty common right now.
That's right, and that I think
Yeah.
that's a very good observation for Canva, right? Because all of the like, why do we use Canva? We use Canva to create thumbnails, and these thumbnails are being created through some of these templates that exist. And where do these templates come from? All of the templates are user generated, and you have you know hundreds and hundreds and thousands of these templates which you can search from and grab from, and get inspiration from. I think that's the typical problem which Canva is trying to solve. And once you're in the ecosystem, it's very hard for another company to build this ecosystem, because all of this is user generated and contributed.
That makes sense. Cool, Sidhu. I think great conversation. So, I want to end the video with a closing comments, right? Like, what do you think a product manager should take away from this video in terms of product-led growth?
I think it's all about the point of value. Make sure you maximize the value which the user gets as soon as they come in and activate, right? Like the point they sign up. I think the faster they get that aha moment of using that product and getting value out of it, the better the more they stick on to it. And that's one thing which I would say. The second thing is, keep adding that value, keep adding value incrementally, and do it iteratively more and more. So the more you add, the more the users stick on. So these two are the most important things which I think that will help anybody build a successful product.
That makes sense. Yeah, I would actually start with the second one, because be extremely user-centric, so that even if even if you think the customers are not using it right now, like continue to build on it, because over a period of time that becomes your freemium model. Like the basic ones can be used by anyone, like whatever add-ons you're adding will become like freemium ones, which are revenue generating for you. The other one I could think about is do a research on all of these products, like what is the growth that they did on each of these. Like it'll teach you a lot that you can incorporate to your own products, because nowadays any company is a tech company. Like even a big car manufacturer like Tesla calls them as a tech company right now. So every company is a tech company. So knowing these principles would help a lot in terms of building your products. Awesome, great conversation, Sidhu. And for everyone who's watching, don't forget to subscribe to Everything Product. Thank you, have a nice day.